Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the visionary who built a nation from the ashes. In the final years of the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire, once a mighty force stretching across continents, was fading into decline. The empire that had once ruled the seas, the deserts, and the mountains was now weakened by wars, internal corruption, and foreign control. Yet in this atmosphere of uncertainty and loss, in the city of Salonika, modern-day Thessaloniki, Greece, a child was born in 1881, a child destined to rewrite the destiny of his nation and inspire the entire world. His name was Mustafa Kemal, later known as Ataturk, the father of the Turks. The spark of a mind ahead of its time. From an early age, Mustafa Kemal displayed a rare combination of curiosity, courage, and critical thinking. His father, Ali Riza Effendi, a civil servant and modest businessman, encouraged his son to pursue modern education. His mother, Zubayd Hanım, a deeply spiritual and determined woman, wished for him to attend a traditional religious school. Between these two worlds, tradition and modernity, young Mustafa learned one of his first lessons. Progress requires balance, but true vision requires courage. He began his education at the Semsi Effendi School, one of the few modern secular schools in the region. It was there that his sharp mind and love for logic became evident. When his father passed away, the family struggled financially, but Mustafa Kemal's thirst for learning never faded. Later, he entered the Salonika Military School, then the Monastir Military High School, where he began to form his own thoughts about freedom, justice, and the importance of national dignity. During these years, he read Western philosophers, scientists, and reformers, Voltaire, Rousseau, Montesquieu, and Napoleon, developing a deep admiration for reason and progress. It was during this time that one of his teachers, impressed by his precise and thoughtful answers, gave him the name Kemal, meaning perfection. The young officer and the birth of a leader. Graduating from the Ottoman Military Academy in Istanbul in 1905, Mustafa Kemal began his career as a staff officer. He immediately stood out, not only for his intelligence and discipline but for his independent thinking. While others blindly followed imperial orders, he dared to question outdated traditions and promote rational military strategy. He served in Syria and North Africa, observing firsthand the empire's weakness and the suffering of its people. His experience during the Italo-Turkish War, 1911–1912, in Libya revealed his remarkable ability to adapt, strategize, and inspire his soldiers. Despite limited resources, his leadership helped resist Italian occupation and earned him respect among both soldiers and officers. In 1913, he was appointed to Sofia, Bulgaria, as a military attaché, a position that broadened his understanding of European civilization. There, he witnessed firsthand the organization, discipline, and scientific mindset that had made Western nations powerful. It strengthened his belief that Turkey's future depended on science, secular education, and equality. The Gallipoli Miracle, a nation's turning point. Then came World War I, a conflict that would change the course of history. The Ottoman Empire entered the war on the side of the Central Powers, and soon its survival was at stake. In 1915, the Allied forces launched a massive invasion on the Gallipoli Peninsula, aiming to capture the Dardanelles and ultimately take Istanbul. At this desperate moment, Mustafa Kemal, then a lieutenant colonel, took command of the 19th Division. Facing superior numbers and weaponry, he inspired his soldiers with words that would echo through time. "I am not ordering you to attack. I am ordering you to die. In the time it takes for us to die, other troops and commanders will come and take our place." The Battle of Gallipoli became one of the most legendary defenses in modern warfare. Ataturk's strategic brilliance and unbreakable spirit turned what seemed a certain defeat into a stunning victory. He became a symbol of hope for a nation that had forgotten how to believe in itself. After Gallipoli, he fought on several other fronts, in the Caucasus, in Syria, and in Palestine, and once again distinguished himself through courage and reason. However, he could see that the empire's days were numbered. Its leadership was weak, its allies unreliable, and its people exhausted. The War of Independence, from defeat to rebirth. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed. Under the Treaty of Sèvres, 1920, The Allies planned to divide Anatolia among themselves and their collaborators. Greece occupied Izmir, the British and French controlled Istanbul, and the Italian forces landed in the south. Many Ottoman officials accepted this humiliation. Mustafa Kemal did not. In May 1919, he left Istanbul aboard the ship Bandırma and arrived in Samsun. That single step, onto the soil of Anatolia, marked the beginning of the Turkish War of Independence. From Amasya to Erzurum and Sivas, he gathered local leaders, organized congresses, and united scattered resistance groups under one national banner. He declared, "The nation's independence will be saved by the determination and resolve of its own people." Under his command, a new army was born, not of sultans or empires, but of ordinary citizens, teachers, farmers, and students who believed in freedom. The war was long and brutal. The Battle of Sakarya, 1921, and the Great Offensive, 1922, became defining moments. When his army liberated Izmir on September 9, 1922, the entire world witnessed the resurrection of a nation. The birth of a republic. With the war won, Mustafa Kemal turned to his next great task, building a new state from the ashes of the old. On October 29, 1923, the Republic of Turkey was proclaimed. The Sultanate was abolished, the Caliphate was dissolved, and for the first time in centuries, sovereignty truly belonged to the people. Ataturk became the Republic's first president, and his mission shifted from military victory to civilization and enlightenment. He once said, "Our true battle is the one against ignorance. Reforming a nation, a revolution of the mind." Ataturk's reforms were not cosmetic, they were transformative. He understood that to modernize a nation, one must change not only its institutions but its mindset. He replaced religious law with secular civil codes, introduced the Latin alphabet to boost literacy, and reformed education from the ground up. He encouraged industrialization, founded banks, supported agriculture, and introduced scientific and technical schools. Women, once confined by tradition, now gained the right to vote and to be elected, a revolutionary step even by Western standards. He changed the calendar, clothing, and measurement systems, aligning Turkey with the modern world. But behind every reform was a single philosophy. The truest guide in life is science. He created institutions like the Turkish Language Association and the Turkish Historical Society to preserve and strengthen national identity, free from foreign influence. He believed that language was the mirror of thought. Purifying and modernizing Turkish was, in his eyes, a way to reclaim the nation's soul. Education, women, and the future. No other leader of his time placed such profound emphasis on education. He once said, "A nation without education is like a building without a foundation." Under his leadership, thousands of schools were built, teachers were trained, and education became free and compulsory. He placed immense faith in women. He believed that half of a nation could not remain in darkness while the other half progressed. Everything we see in the world is the creative work of women. Ataturk envisioned women as teachers, scientists, and leaders, equal partners in building the republic. Personality, wisdom, and humanity. Beyond politics and military genius, Ataturk was an extraordinary human being, disciplined, thoughtful, and cultured. He was fluent in French, familiar with German and Arabic, and had an exceptional memory. He was a lover of music, poetry, and art. He enjoyed the works of Beethoven and Wagner, Turkish folk music, and literature from across the world. His evenings often included long discussions about philosophy, history, and science with intellectuals and artists. He loved children and saw them as symbols of the nation's future. Hence, April 23, the day the Grand National Assembly was founded, was dedicated by him as Children's Day, the first of its kind in the world. Though strict in principles, he was gentle in manner. Those close to him recalled that he would listen more than he spoke, and when he spoke, every word carried thought and precision. Nutuk, the testament of a nation. In 1927, Ataturk delivered his monumental speech, Nutuk, the Great Speech, lasting 6 days. It was not merely a retelling of events, It was the blueprint of a revolution. He recounted, with clarity and passion, how a defeated nation rose through unity, courage, and faith in reason. Nutuk remains one of the most important political works of the modern era, a timeless document of leadership, accountability, and national vision. The final years and eternal legacy. As the 1930s progressed, Ataturk continued to modernize Turkey's economy, culture, and diplomacy. His foreign policy principle, peace at home, peace in the world, reflected his belief that national strength must come from internal harmony and respect for others. Unfortunately, his health began to decline in the late 1930s due to liver disease. On November 10, 1938, at 9:05 a.m., Mustafa Kemal Atatürk passed away at Dolmabahce Palace in Istanbul. The entire nation wept. Schools closed, soldiers stood in silence, and millions mourned their leader as if mourning a father. His body was later placed in the magnificent Anıt Kabir Mausoleum in Ankara, where it rests today, a place of pilgrimage for those who believe in freedom and progress. A legacy beyond borders. Ataturk's influence transcends Turkey. Leaders and thinkers across the world admired his courage and intellect. Winston Churchill called him the greatest statesman who emerged from the First World War. Time magazine listed him among the most influential leaders of the 20th century. But his true legacy is not in statues or titles, it is in the minds of generations who continue to live by his values: rational thought, equality, peace, and education. Eternal inspiration. To this day, the world remembers him not just as the founder of a nation but as a symbol of enlightenment in a dark century. He proved that true leadership is not about conquering others, but about liberating minds. He once said, "To see me does not necessarily mean to see my face. To understand my ideas is to see me." And indeed, Ataturk lives on, in every classroom, in every free thought, and in every heart that beats for progress.